Welcome everybody to our first ever edition of Movie Cast. We'll be discussing Batman vs Superman Ultimate Edition on Blu-ray. You're here with me, Manny. I've also got Bob.
Yeah, what's going on, guys?
Lewis.
Hey.
And Nib.
Hey, what's up, guys?
We'll be going over the plot summary, our likes, dislikes, our suggestive improvements, and
Just some
themes
closing-
of the film that we enjoyed, and generally just discussing the film. Because I think we've all got quite mixed feelings about the film. So, firstly, starting off with Bob.
This movie was brilliant, but shit at the same time for me.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential that was wasted.
That's why people wanted to watch it, because it had so much potential. But when it comes down to it, when the directors tried to tell us the story of why this is happening, I think that's where it failed.
The story as well was just all over the place.
I think that's a good point. Let's quickly go over the plot. The general plot of the story was that there's a clash between Batman vs Superman. The start of the film was really good, where they showed Superman's fight versus Zod happening, and Ben Affleck was actually on the ground.
I was like, wow.
Comparing it to Marvel, that's something that they did a lot better than Marvel was showing two films overlapping in the same universe. So I thought that was quite smart. And the whole plot of the story is that Ben Affleck, or Batman, sees Superman and the destruction he's caused, and he doesn't like what's happening. He doesn't like the idea of this alien coming down to Earth, fighting without basically no control over what he's doing. And then you have the political scene with Senator Finch, I think it is. I don't know who plays the character. And she's like the main protagonist in stopping Superman or controlling Superman. And that's where Jesse Eisenberg comes in, who plays Lex Jr. Yeah. And his whole story is that he's just trying to make Batman vs Superman basically a fight at the end. And he's just basically trying to play a puppet master.
What was Lex Luthor doing ripping off Batman as well?
How do you mean ripping him off?
Like, it just got serious vibes of a crazy Heath Ledger kind of character. Just I don't know
talking
if
about
it-
Joker?
Yeah, sorry, the Joker. It's just like ripped off that movie. Like even the pacing, like comparing it to Dark Knight 2 and 3, when they're like going from scene to scene with like rumblings of music, it seemed like they just lifted that straight off the Batman trilogy, which is a bit cheap.
Yeah, I think the film suffers from a lot of that, where it's trying to do a lot of things, picking from different films, and basically loses its identity in the whole process. Which is one of my main dislikes about the film, is that it basically doesn't know what it wants to be. It has huge plot holes in it. It just puts characters in there. Wonder Woman's one of them. Doomsday at the end is one of them. I mean, we're reviewing the Ultimate Edition, and that this explanation of why Doomsday is there is given in the Ultimate Edition, but in the cinema,
So it wasn't in the.
Main.
Oh, really? Was it?
So what scenes were added?
No,
so-
I haven't
Just to
seen-
clarify.
So the whole scene, I think, when he goes into the
What,
ship
with
at the
Zod's
first
dead
time
body?
is not in the is part. I think partly in the cinema, but the whole thing where he attaches him when he's talking to the computer, and the computer says, "Oh, this is
Do you want to
like
take it?
1,000
Forbidden,
years
yeah.
of
Yeah.
history," and he says, "Oh,
Teach me everything.
yeah, teach me everything," and then the computer says, "Commence metamorphosis." Like, that doesn't happen at all. So like the whole explanation of that Doomsday is Zod, and they metamorphosizing him with olden knowledge and technology is not explained at all in the movie. And he just basically like this really convenient alien bad guy at the
and
end who
just
just
pops
pops up.
Oh, right, I didn't know
So
that.
it's quite confusing when you're watching it in the
Yeah.
cinema.
Yeah, but in the DVD, credit to them, they did explain.
Yeah, but imagine like you're a casual cinema goer and you don't like you haven't watched bothered about Batman Superman in your childhood or anything. You just want to go with your girlfriend or whoever, and you see that and go, what did we just watch?
That's one of my notes was one of my dislikes is they have like, if unless you read the comics, there's like probably 20 minutes of the film where you're watching it and you just think, what the hell is going on? There's a scene where he daydreams when he's being attacked by creatures from Apocalypse, I think. And like he's killing people, and the whole the thing with Batman, he's not supposed to kill people. He just hurts them and captures them, but he's like shedding blood everywhere.
Are you talking about that dream sequence?
Yeah.
Where it's like the post-apocalypse.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
I
Like
think
Mad Max Batman.
With a trench
Yeah.
coat.
Oh my.
They should have done more with that.
That was a
Yeah,
cool-
it was cool. It's
Yeah.
just like, what the hell? Where
What
did
is he
this come
doing?
from?
Yeah.
Like he was just decrypting thingy data. Like we haven't seen him fall asleep,
Yeah.
and then he wakes up, and all of a sudden, like you got somebody who looks like Iron Man busting through a portal, telling him, like I don't even know what he's saying.
I think that's
no,
Flash, right?
no, actually,
Yeah,
actually,
it was meant to be the Flash.
I actually
but it
like
looked like-
that.
But you like it because you knew who it was.
Yeah, I like that scene.
Casual fans.
That wasn't in the cinema, I think, was it?
That was in the cinema,
Was
and like I didn't first catch who
The-
that was, and I was like, "What the hell is
No,
going
'cause,
on
yeah.
here?"
Because I really like that scene because it's got time travel and
Yeah.
So
it's
which
the Flash going through the time force.
So
And
which
what is it-
Flash
Speed
is
Force,
that?
sorry.
Which Flash is that comes back? Because obviously you can't be right about Superman. Like assuming if he was talking.
we don't know
about,
what he's
You-
talking about. He
I
was
thought he was
saying
talking about.
what's her name again? Lois. Was it Lois? He said
Yeah.
Lois is a really important.
No, I
one.
don't think he says her name. I think he just says,
She's
"Oh,
the-
you're right
Yeah,
about
you were
her.
right
You're
about
right
her."
about her."
If she means
So it could be
Wonder
like Wonder Woman, like
Oh,
Oh,
I
was it
can't-
her? I thought it was
it was
him.
just basically a
Yeah, I thought
You
Easter
were right
egg.
about him, and then
No, it's her.
obviously I thought
I'm
like
sure he
that's
says her.
It's her, yeah.
that's that
I
was
thought
the
it was her,
Flash
yeah.
speaking about Superman. So I don't know. And
Well,
also
well, no, but end of it, he also says, "Bring us back," or like, "Find us." So I think he's talking about Wonder Woman. He does say,
I think the
us.
Find Us is
You're
the
right about
four 20-second trailers that they found in the video.
Yeah,
clip.
yeah.
I mean, the whole just keeping it back on
okay.
discussion. Like the whole Lewis thing is a valid point where the film has just like tons of those little things where you just don't understand why
Yeah.
they're in the film.
They just try to cover too much. Because
Yeah.
with Marvel, they did like Captain America, they did Thor, then they brought them together. This one,
Maybe
They
they
want
want
to
to
do
rush
it
it.
too.
they went to everyone at once.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of knows Batman, but they still went over his story about, how his parents died, and I guess Superman already had the prequel, but Wonder Woman was just stuck in there. For
Like
no
all she
reason.
was doing was just like traveling around the world looking fabulous. Like she was catching the airplane and cabs and like using a laptop. Like was she using these devices? And she like the queen of like the Amazon.
Well, she is a princess.
yeah,
Princess Diana.
right. So what the hell is she doing? Like traveling the world first and
Right.
foremost. What was she doing here 100 years ago? Battling like in the World War.
Yeah.
Which we'll find out.
Well, yeah, in the new trailer for a film, it's
okay.
gone like for a Captain
'Cause in the-
America vibe.
In the
where-
picture, there was that guy who plays the
Captain Kirk, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Captain Kirk. Yeah, I thought I
yeah,
recognised
yeah,
him.
it's him. He's. I don't
So
know.
what? They just ripped off Captain America
Yeah, I
now
think
as
so.
well. Oi.
Well, that whole
Yeah.
argument, they've been copying each other for years, like
Yeah.
Flash
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Daredevil
true.
and all this sort of stuff. Just keep it like maybe to balance out this. Like, what did you
You like-
like about the film?
No, there's
So-
still stuff I don't like. Let's cover
We'll get
all
back
the
to it.
dislikes.
We'll
balance it
I think we
later.
have to balance it a bit.
We'll balance it
like,
later. Let's do the bad
I
bits
think we
first.
have about
Yeah.
50 minutes of dislike and 10 minutes. Of
Also, that compilation of Ben Affleck doing push-ups and hitting that
It's not
tire with a
needed.
sledgehammer. But and also, he's doing like scientific experiments and creating the
Kryptonite.
the kryptonite friggin'
The
exploding
grenades and
stuff.
all
You
that.
did
I
like
thought
that,
that
you
was
liked
really
that.
good.
That
I
was
thought I
really
liked that.
cheesy.
We
I
don't
thought-
really need it though. You know why he
Yeah.
wants the kryptonite. He's got the kryptonite. We know what he's gonna do. You don't need to explain it to us.
I thought it was quite good because there's a scene before that where he goes to the old mansion and he's talking to Alfred, and just as a positive, Alfred, I really like.
I want to talk about Alfred.
I really liked Alfred in the movie because
I
I
like
thought he was
Alfred
like a
too,
younger.
but-
He's
I like
like his
Alfred
older
too,
brother.
but-
He's
yeah.
supposed to be
I
known.
quite like that.
They're like
I
five
quite
years,
like that.
5 years apart, maybe.
I quite like that.
I like the
I liked
actor.
a lot of his dialogue.
Yeah, but
Like the stuff
he
he
should
came
be
out
a
with
lot
was
older.
very-
Come on,
yeah, he
you
should
know he
be
should
a
be a
lot
lot older. He's
I think
supposed
we
to be
have to
the
break away
babysitter.
from Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy.
No, but Alfred's
But he's
always been
supposed to
this
be the
old,
babysitter,
posh white guy.
basically.
And he's looked after Batman since he was a kid, and he's got at least to be 10, 15 years at least.
Yeah,
10,
how,
15.
yeah.
He looks like his older brother, and he's too like trendy with his glasses and he doesn't look like a butler.
Yeah.
He should be something else. He should be like his partner.
But again, his dialogue is something that I could have pictured like Alfred from the cartoons even saying to him. I could have like seen him saying it.
But he was like,
But he did have
he
the-
was- yeah.
The good line with Alfred where he says like he talks about his ancestry and he says, "Oh, we've always
Always
been
been
hunters,"
Yeah.
and like then they had the whole compilation afterwards where he's actually making basically like the hunter arrows, where he's making like the kryptonite bullets with the guns. I think that was quite good because if you take that out and then you just watch it, I think we could assume like, oh, he just made the kryptonite, but showing how he made it was one of the good things. I think that's of all the things that should have been cut from the movie. That's probably like
they
one of the
they
least
could have
things.
shown the compilation of him forging the kryptonite weapons, but there's no need to like show him like doing weighted pull-ups.
On the topic
Like,
of
if
the
anything, it should have
kryptonite,
been like technical.
it's just vanity
on
at
the
the end of
topic
the
of the
day.
kryptonite, I didn't like how
He
he
got
actually
found.
got hold of it because it was just like this. I forgot what happens before, but Jesse he finds out that that Russian guy is importing the kryptonite for Jesse Eisenberg on the white Portuguese thing, and then he goes and he finds the boat. And then he finds out where it's going, and then there's a whole scene before I can't remember what happens.
Superman
and
crashes.
then,
Well, he crashes into Superman.
yeah, and then Jesse Eisenberg goes back to his LexCorp, and then it's just like this, 2 minute clip, like it's basically a 30-minute clip of watching security camera, Batman just knocking people out, and then he just finds that
Take the thing
cool
and
bat dagger,
Oh yeah.
and the kryptonite's gone. It's like if the kryptonite was so special, surely you would have had a bit more protection. I
Yeah.
think they could have done that.
Well, it's
with
Batman though. He's gonna find a way. They could have done.
But
it
they
a
could
little
have
bit better.
shown
Yeah,
that.
exactly,
like it was
yeah.
just like, okay, he's just got it now. It's just one of those
Yeah.
plot holes, convenient points.
Yeah.
So what did you guys think of? I mean, we've talked about Batman a lot up till now. What do you guys think of Superman's whole story arc and how he actually developed? Because this was supposed to be
It
his
was-
movie.
It was better than I expected.
I thought it was perfectly fine, to be honest.
Yeah, he didn't smile an awful lot. He looked a lot like Batman, just angry all the time.
He just had he had a lot of
He was
pressure on him.
He was.
He was trying to do the right thing, but he gets a lot of flack for doing the right thing and ignoring. I don't know. So basically, the thing of you're saving this person, well, why not save that person instead? I mean,
But
you
does
can't-
he-
The
I
Superman
mean-
bit.
Yeah,
I think the
that's why he's unhappy. I think.
the plot with Superman was really good. Like there's a really good line where that Senator Finch says, "Oh, Superman, we should judge. We're too busy thinking
What he
about
can
what
do.
Superman can do and what he should do."
Yeah.
And there's a scene that the court happens just after the Africa terrorist
yeah.
incident.
Yeah.
And like that whole arc should have been, I think, fleshed out a lot more. There should have been a lot more, like they could have shown a lot more protesting for and against Superman. They could have shown more scenes of why Superman should be doing other things as opposed to what he's doing. Because I think there's just such a shallow representation of what Superman is doing. I mean, comparing it to Civil War, where you felt like there's things on the line here where they had the whole arc between Iron Man and Captain America, where there was like friendship and like there's literally a pull of like what they should be doing, their motivations, like they actually have to think about it. You actually feel
sacrifices,
like
yeah.
you feel the
substance.
tension, you feel the stakes. And with Superman, it's just like there's that one scene where he comes in for groceries and like I think it's that scene or another scene where he's watching something on the TV. He's like, "Oh, I don't care what they think," or "The only thing that matters is you." It's like really, it's like
Yeah.
you should be doing a lot more. There's a scene right towards in the start of the third act where he climbs up a mountain where he's like so depressed about what he's doing after the
Or when he has a vision
explosion
of
happens in the
Vision of his
court.
dad, yeah.
And he
That's
has a
pretty
vision
cool.
of his dad, and it's just such a boring scene because it's like 2 hours into the movie. Now you think about what you should and shouldn't be doing. Like if that was
Yeah.
at in the middle or towards the beginning, you'd actually see some conflict in his head. And I think this is one of the reasons why Lois Lane was one of the weakest characters in this film because
she didn't.
She's just a damsel.
she
that's
does
it.
nothing
That's what
exactly.
she was.
Yeah, I definitely think she was one of the weakest.
If she was
characters.
doing more of like, "Oh, Clark, you have to do this," or you have to fight against it, like she could have been like in his head.
Yeah.
They could have like done that whole like, "You don't have to save me." Like all she was doing is,
Getting
"Oh,
into
don't
trouble.
worry, I'll have you to rely on basically wherever I go." And even the end scene where Superman is fighting against Doomsday and he hears her basically drowning,
Oh, yeah, she's drowning.
and he just like abandons the
So
whole
what?
fight.
Is he like meant to be in tune with her specific heartbeat, so he could always?
He's got
Yeah,
super hearing,
You can tell, I guess.
Yeah, it's a bit silly. Like,
which was the
she's-
thing, like what he can do and what he
When she
should
was in
do.
Africa, I assume he's in America at the time.
Yeah.
And
Must
all
have
of
been nearby.
out-
It's just a convenience.
Yeah,
He
I didn't like
pops
that he
in.
just came out of
Yeah.
nowhere. If that's, I don't know, some way of communicating, fair enough,
Yeah.
but he just came out of nowhere. So, yeah, I definitely think that side of the story wasn't so good. But I did like the way that, because he's saving the world, he's like becoming like a god, you know, the kind of scenes they showed
The
him
flooding
coming down
bit.
from the sky.
Yeah.
But they
There's
could
kind
have
of
done
things you've
so
seen
much
in, like,
more with
rocket.
that.
Yeah,
And this is the whole point of the film is like if they just took Doomsday out of the movie, like why they? This is another thing.
Yeah.
I mean, this is one of our suggestive improvements. Is Doomsday didn't need to be in this movie at all. All it needed to be was a Lex Luthor, Batman, Superman triangle basically story, where it's just Batman versus Superman, and Lex is just using
Them to fight each
his
other, yeah.
money, his influence in the media, his political power to, push and pull people's opinions on Superman, and then get in Batman's head, influence Batman, play on Batman's terrible past with criminals. He even has that really good line where like he's used to seeing freaks in costumes. I forgot what he's clowns, and I forgot what he says in that meeting, but he says that really good line where it's like touching upon what he's experienced with Joker. Like that was should have been the whole plot. Like Doomsday just did not.
I think it's like Spider-Man 3 where they had too many villains, too many characters. They had the Green Goblin, they had Venom, they had there's too much going
I
on.
think maybe
Sandman.
with their deadlines with the other movies,
Yeah.
they thought, well, let's just do it all in this, and then we can take care of
Yeah,
it.
because they want to get Justice League out.
Yeah,
and the only
exactly.
way they can do it is if they just get everything done.
To get on pot. Or
Because I don't
try
think
to-
Flash and Aquaman are getting their own film. Yeah, and Aquaman, but the scenes they showed.
Are they not?
They're pretty,
I think Aquaman's getting our own.
Is Flash though?
I don't think probably Flash.
I prefer Flash to get a film, but I guess Aquaman's different, so it might be better.
Well, Flash has his own TV show.
Yeah, people probably sick of that. Yeah, like, as in like having another.
Yeah, I've stopped watching Flash after one series.
Was Flash the character in the TV show? Was he in that
No,
little
it's
No, it's
trailer?
a different guy. I think.
That was just like completely unnecessary. That didn't need to
Yeah.
be in the movie at all.
All the trailers.
So I really liked going back to the beginning of the movie. I really liked Batman's origin story where they shot. I mean, they shot a really good like comic book style, frame by frame, where the guy's shooting
Yeah.
his mother with the
Yeah.
pearls are falling. Very comic book style where they're showing him resurrecting basically with the bats and becoming Batman even as a kid. I thought that was really good.
And one thing I didn't like about when Superman was fighting Batman was how suddenly he's like, Bruce, listen. But then he has a hold of him. He doesn't tell him anything. He just punches him instead. I'm like, what are you doing? You had a chance to tell him just now.
Batman was way too dumb in that film. I don't know.
He was so thick. It looked like Affleck was wearing like a muscle suit like, underneath.
No,
his
they
clothes.
took that from the comic because what happens? He does build a suit like that, but he's got
Oh,
like
okay.
like kryptonite gloves basically, which he uses.
No, like when he's walking around just in casual clothes, he looks like he's wearing
yeah.
something underneath to like.
He probably bulked up, doing those pull-ups with the
You
weights.
lift, bro.
So yeah, but I didn't like.
I actually
didn't
like Ben.
No, I'm sorry.
I think Nadal's main thing is like he's just basically always angry. I think
He's always got a sad face.
Like the Hulk.
And you got to compare him to the other people who played Batman. But I think Christian Bale did a better job
I think
because Batman's supposed to be like a playboy billionaire, he's supposed to put on
Yeah.
an act in front of
Yeah.
everyone else. But when he's
just
alone,
angry as
then
fuck.
he's Batman. He's a bit, he's a bit broody. But here he's broody with everyone. He's like,
Yeah.
even
I
when he's
think
at the party.
that's a good point, and there's a good line. I was actually watching Keeping Close Eye. They said how long he's been Batman, and there's a really good line where Alfred says to him, "You've been doing this for 20 years." So it's like he's been a
Yeah.
Batman for 20 years. It seems like he's when that whole thing happens at the beginning, it's like he's in a suit, he's visiting Metropolis. It seems like he's basically retired, or he doesn't he's giving up that life. And then he sees his building collapse. He phones that guy up. He says to him, "Get out of there!" And then
I thought that was stupid. They're like this. There's like meteors coming down in the city, and you're still working. What the fuck?
yeah.
You wait for Christian Bale to tell you. Well, not Christian Bale.
Why did Bruce Wayne turn up to that fight club as well, dressed as Bruce Wayne?
I think he
It was
was-
a bit like obvious, wasn't it? like, and he actually went up to speak to that
Yeah,
Russian man,
yeah.
like dressed like
Yeah.
fully kitted out
Yeah.
like a Russian, like a actual like billionaire playboy.
But I don't think that
So-
that Russian guy knew who he was.
But half the other people in the Fight Club
I think
must have.
everyone-
He's just one of those.
Plot
Yeah.
holes.
Like, that
One
was
of
yeah.
those
That
many.
didn't make no sense. Like, how did?
Why
he,
was he even there? I can't
No,
even remember why.
well,
was
how does he know
there?
even if there's a Fight Club?
Oh, he was
Yeah,
just
Because
tracking
he
it.
wanted to
He
hack
was
the
just-
phone.
Yeah, but how?
See, why was he there? I don't understand.
To get the phone data off the Russian about where the kryptonite.
Oh
is.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
that-
yeah.
that was
With the
it.
okay. Yeah, like that could have been done a whole lot better. I didn't get the scene. Maybe I'm just being dumb. Where he plugs in something into the computer,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then Wonder Woman steals it.
Yeah.
What is he trying to get there?
He's
The
trying to
Aquaman
get
stuff.
information.
Yeah.
Aquaman, Wonder Woman, all
But
that.
how does he know that's that? He's
Oh,
just
no,
trying
I
to
don't
get
think he
info,
knows.
right?
Yeah,
doesn't-
exactly.
he
Him and
doesn't know
Alfred.
that.
He came
the-
He's just trying to get something.
the gadget wizard.
I guess he came to find out where the kryptonite stuff. No, he doesn't. He knows where that is, doesn't he? By then.
No, that's like
That's the
off-
first thing.
Yeah.
He's there to. No, he wants to do something with Lex because then Alfred is like, well, you don't need to go
Yeah.
as Batman to Lex Luthor's
Oh, I think
house.
maybe he knows
You
at
can
that
go.
point that Jesse Eisenberg, because he gets an invitation. That's when Alfred then he says to Alfred, "Oh, I need
Batman doesn't
to
have to
steal
break
it."
in.
Yeah, yeah, and then he knows at that point that Jesse Eisenberg is connected to that Russian white Portuguese. So it's just like, what did you guys think of Wonder Woman in the film?
Massively underused.
Yeah, when I heard that she was cast for the role, I obviously just checked some pictures. She didn't look, but when she was in the
Yeah.
outfit, she did look like Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
But she didn't really do anything. She shouldn't even been in the film.
Mm.
in
No,
my
she
opinion.
just had like
She
a
was
cool
in the
scene at the
background.
end,
Yeah.
and like the whole. I mean, this goes down to the point where it's just too bloated, where they doing a whole
Yeah.
setup for the whole DC
Because
universe.
they could have had her in the background, but not really show. And then you think,
Mm.
oh, in the previous film, Batman vs Superman, that was Wonder Woman. Oh, like kind of linking that way. But putting it in just to have a bit of a fight, and she didn't even fight from the beginning. It was just, I don't know.
Right at the end.
I did
Yeah.
like her in the fight scene though, where she
So
like she
good.
drops down
Yeah.
and then she does
Like,
her. It's
I
really
like
cool.
her music as well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Oh yeah,
that's
she had good music. That's
one
true.
of that's one of my likes of the film is where each character's got its own like theme song basically.
Yeah.
Where Lex has got that. Dun, 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 like really, I just bad
Yeah.
impression, but
I
heavy
think that's quite
piano,
good.
Yeah.
heavy
Yeah.
piano, and then like Batman's got this deep.
But it's like Hans Zimmer, right? Who did
Yeah,
the soundtrack.
yeah.
I think
So like
he
each
always does a
character,
good job with that.
each character's got their own theme song, which I really liked. I really enjoyed that. And Wonder Woman's got a really cool fight scene where she, in the fight scene where she gets knocked away by Doomsday and she actually smiles and she goes back into the fight, which sort of
Shows the
gives you the
warrior
impression like
instinct.
she's quite
Yeah.
experienced. She has that line where she's killed plenty of aliens
things,
before.
Oh yeah, things about Alex.
Yeah. And she's like basically responsible for Superman's death in a way because she actually chops Doomsday's
Yeah.
hand off, which turns into a spear, which stabs Superman.
Oh yeah.
But on that topic, did you feel anything when Superman got stabbed? Did you feel
no,
anything?
because I know
Yeah.
that as a
I was like, what?
fan, like that.
Did
he's
you
gonna come
really?
back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I knew he was gonna come back eventually. Like,
I couldn't care less when he got stabbed. I think that's one of the main issues of the film is that I
Yeah,
couldn't
they
care
didn't
less if
make
he
it.
got
It
stabbed.
should have been dramatic, but it wasn't. No,
I
It
don't
was
think
just
I felt
like,
that
at
because
that
of the
point, I
movie,
was
just because of the
so-
history of Superman.
Yeah,
Sorry, say that again?
I think because of the history of like how we grew up with Superman.
Yeah.
I think that's probably why I went, oh no, Superman, not like, oh no, Batman v Superman,
Yeah.
Superman.
But Death of Superman is supposed to be like a massive
Yes,
event
yeah,
in the
in
comic.
comics,
Doomsday
yeah.
like
he
stabs
does kill,
him,
Yeah, he does kill
and
him.
like
I don't know how he comes back in the comics, but we all see because at the end of the film, I think his coffin,
Yeah.
the,
Yeah.
the
The
dirt goes
soil,
like
yeah,
go
it
up.
kind of like vibrates. So,
in the cartoons, I think it's similar to that as well.
Okay.
but how does he?
Oh,
I
that
don't know
was
how he
cool,
comes
though.
back though.
It was like, came
Yeah.
out for like not even half, quarter of a second maybe. The dirt goes, and it just cuts.
Yeah.
So was he buried as Superman or Clark Kent?
I think Clark Kent. They knew who he was then at that stage.
I don't think they did.
No, I don't think
because
they
no, because they put Clark Kent's picture in a newspaper.
Yeah, but
So
that
he
was like
died
in the
in the
middle of
line
the
of
thing.
like you
Yeah.
know.
Oh,
being
that's
died,
over.
died in the thing.
So I think
Yeah.
they buried him
In
as.
battle.
but his
Clark Kent.
costume is glasses.
No, they buried a.
So surely they would have
And-
known.
I don't know in the
No, I
old,
think they buried what you call it? They buried
No
the city
autopsy.
one.
in
The
the.
city, the black coffin. That
Oh yeah.
I think in the city when they did it with the army and all that, that was like an empty coffin.
Oh.
And
right.
then where was with his mum and
Oh,
like
that
the thing
was
in Kansas,
okay.
that was like.
Oh,
actually Clark
really?
Kent, Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I think they had 2 separate ones.
That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Mm.
Then.
But yeah, his whole identity thing, like back in the days, like he tries to be like a geek, like a nerd, like really weak. But that geek culture is now kind of popular, so it's like he's trying to be trendy. So I found it a bit weird. He's like wearing the big glasses, and it just they should have thought of something else.
They could have done so. Like that's the whole point. Like if they didn't have the 20 minutes, half an hour last act with Doomsday, they could have done more where he's hunting, where he's playing cat and mouse with Batman, where he's actually going after Batman. And he's asking him like, "Oh, how can you be judge, jury, and executioner all in one?" And like he's doing the same thing, like that. He could have been going home and then thinking like, "What I'm doing the same thing."
Yeah.
They could have played on that emotion so much more. But
even with 3 hours, it wasn't enough.
No.
I mean, that's a problem,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly. Because they wanted to fit everything to
Yeah.
suit the next lot of films.
Yeah, they just wanted to cram everything
Yeah.
in.
They just got a bit greedy.
Yeah, and, I think the comic, it's based on the comic essentially, but they didn't follow the good points from that because that was it was just focused on Batman versus.
Wasn't Batman vs Superman like the first trailer was mostly just Batman vs Superman, and then second trailer was Doomsday, and everyone's like,
yeah, I didn't watch.
"What?"
I didn't watch. I only
I think
watched
if
the
they just
first
left
one.
where the first trailer was the first trailer, everyone would have been, yeah, that's still.
Yeah, I
awesome.
mean that's a good point. That sort of just killed my hype for the movie. To be
Yeah,
honest,
I
I
remember-
was
I remember you guys
I was going
saying-
with my guard up.
Yeah,
Doomsday looked bogus as well. He don't look like
Mm.
anything.
By the end, he kind of did look.
Yeah,
like
he
looked
like,
like
once you
spikes,
get the spikes.
When he
Then I thought like he was gonna keep evolving and like actually turn into the Doomsday that I know, but he just.
I think the
got
film
killed
could have
before
also
that.
done without the traditional hit the nuke button
Yeah, that's
order
cool.
from the president.
It's like sure, like you guys seen that how Batman vs Superman should have ended
No, I haven't seen
when they like made the point that when Superman was up there punching him like into space, Superman should have just carried on punching him and punched him into the sun. Instead,
that. No,
instead
but the
the
sun's
humans-
the energy though. So that
Oh,
sounds
yeah.
Doomsday wouldn't have.
Neither of them would have died.
there you go.
Is
I didn't
Doomsday's
think about
energy
that.
the sun as well?
Well,
No, he's
yeah,
Kryptonian.
yeah,
Oh,
because
yeah.
he's got what's his name?
Oh,
Zod's body.
another point.
Yeah,
When
Zod's.
Doomsday was getting like revived, basically, the computer was saying, "Oh, the council has forbidden this, has
Yeah.
forbidden that, so you can't do it." And Lex is like, "Where is it now?"
Yeah.
Oh, it's dead. Okay, then carry on. Like, what kind of
Yeah.
what kind of veto is that? They're dead, so you can't. That rule doesn't apply
So
anymore.
when did Doomsday get
I quite like
firstly
that.
created? Like, is he known
If,
in
they
like?
shouldn't.
the
They make a
Kryptonite?
rule, and just because they're dead, it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, he is. Well,
That's-
But because it's
quite
an
a
AI,
bypass.
yeah, I see your point. But because it was an AI, it sort of has to do what is commanded. He asked some question like, "Who is going to stop me?" And he's like, "The people
That's
who stopped me
basically
were
it.
dead." He's like, "Okay, just carry on." Like,
I think that would have been made better sense though if you said, "Who's gonna stop me?" instead of
Yeah.
"Where the council now."
yeah,
It didn't really imply.
yeah, should have wrote
Yeah.
this movie.
yeah, so I guess our main criticisms are that it's too much going on.
Yeah,
It's,
they got a bit greedy.
Yeah, got a bit greedy. They try to cover too much ground in too short a time. Yeah, I think that's the main kind of problem actually.
If trailer 1 was the movie, then it would have been perfect. I think.
yeah,
Yeah, I think like the first half of the movie is really good. Like the cat and mouse play between Batman and Superman, it should have been done better, but it was still good. The females in the movie were really bad. The Senator Finch character was just terrible. Like
she wasn't even the
She-
president. Why is she making all these big decisions? To, like,
exactly,
I don't know,
like,
she's just a senator.
yeah,
shouldn't have been in the movie at all, or should have been given a more fleshed out role. Lois Lane should have been done more. Let's talk about why. Like the whole film goes on like for 2 hours. That's Batman vs Superman, and then it switches. The fight between Batman vs Superman. Do you have any thoughts about that?
It was really good. I really enjoyed that fight.
I think it could have been
All
so
of
much
it.
better.
yeah, I agree with Lewis. I think.
Although
I call myself Lewis, but
I thought it was really, really good. Like I knew they weren't gonna kill each other, but going into it, like I thought they like really went hardcore at it. Like the special effects as well, like with the super heavy rain, it kind of gave me like the Matrix
Oh, the
Part
last
3
fight, yeah.
when it's Neo and Agent
Yeah,
Smith
yeah.
fighting against each other, smashing through the walls, like the way it kind of changed when Superman first got hit by the kryptonite gas.
That was a really cool
yeah.
scene where he shoots the gun and he grabs
Catches
it,
it.
and then he goes for a swing and Batman stops him.
Yeah,
He says, "Oh, men are brave," and then he punches
yeah,
him.
Yeah.
that was
Like
really,
that was a really good line. the fighting was really like they did a really like the director is the guy who directed 300, so he does action, he does fighting, like that's.
Now
his
the
forte.
choreography was good. I think the logic wasn't there with because he has obviously that superhuman strength. He got that. He took that first step when he saw Batman. The sound thing came. He destroyed both, and then when he punched him away, he could literally have killed him if he wanted to. I don't know.
He doesn't want to.
Yeah, he pushed him away. He didn't
Yeah.
punch. He just went like that. I think if he had grabbed him, I don't know, if because obviously he thinks he's some sort of threat because he's doing all these things to him. I don't know. Disable him in some way.
Yeah.
I don't know. Mitigate him. I don't know.
I just wanted more. Yeah, I think
I think
More
Superman
because
could
you
have
knew
done.
it wasn't the climax. You didn't feel like you didn't.
If
think,
you knew that exactly, if
Yeah.
you knew it, you would have been
Yeah.
emotionally invested.
exactly, who
You're
is gonna
waiting for the
win, yeah.
moment of because the whole point was then
Freaking
is like you're waiting. When are they gonna turn?
Together.
Not against like together exactly. When are they gonna turn together and against Doomsday? And you're waiting for that moment, and that moment is such a letdown when he's just fighting him. And he says Martha, and then Batman just
Is
like
that but
What?
Is
clicks
that
his
really?
fingers
How?
out. Well,
Is that really both of their mothers?
Yeah.
It is in the
Yeah.
comics as well. Okay.
So
I wasn't sure. I was thinking, is it?
the whole
Why did you say that name?
yeah.
yeah,
That's my
it
cousin's
makes him
name.
look so dumb. Like it makes him look so stupid. Like what did you exactly just?
And then
spot
all
on
of a sudden
impression.
they were just best friends straight after that.
Yeah.
It's
I'll
like
save your mom. You
instant.
say you do this.
It's
And then he
like-
actually trusts him. And he says, "Oh, I'll go get your mom." It's like,
Okay.
I'll go take care of Tuesday.
Nah, the logic isn't there.
That whole the switch was. I mean, I don't know how it could have been. In my opinion, it didn't need to take place. They should have just fought it out, and then Wonder Woman could have come and if she needed to be in it, like be
Like, I think,
Peacemaker.
like when Batman was just about to deliver the final blow, I think instead of Lois turning up, like he should have just had, should have just like cut to a daydream where he was just like stirring things over in his mind and then finally realizing this isn't who I want to be. Like
Yeah.
maybe flashbacks to like
That's a good point.
Being a good guy. Yeah.
being a good guy. Flashbacks to when his butler was like telling him all the things throughout the movie, like telling him like you've changed or
Yeah.
If he had a
whatnot.
flashback to his mum,
yeah.
and
he knows what it's like being a superhero and everyone turning against you.
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
He
he's
should be able
done
to
that
relate
all
to him
before.
at some level, but yeah, he didn't really care. He's just like, I'm gonna kill you.
But Martha did it.
Yeah. It wasn't satisfying enough.
so I don't know. Do you have any overall like lost words? I think we've covered pretty much. We covered the theme.
Things.
Oh, this is the other thing I was gonna say was, I was thinking about this morning where it's just kind of hard to watch the film. Like comparing it to Marvel movies are really fun. They're light, they're bright, they have their comedy moments,
This is just
and
the
it's
way they
easy
do
to
it.
watch
Yeah,
them.
but that's
I think that's a
DC.
cop out.
This is
I think
a
that's a
No,
cop
I think that's
out.
DC style.
I think that's a cop out.
Well,
What do you mean it's a
Would you
copy?
rather them be the same as Marvel then? You'd
They
be like,
can-
oh,
they-
why are they copying them for? That's why you'd be
I
saying.
think they can do their dark movie, but they can have they can make it enjoyable and entertaining.
Yeah.
For me, I didn't feel entertained when I wasn't having fun watching.
Yeah, I mean, if you compare it to like Captain America: Civil War, like that had lots of jokes
Yeah.
and it had the action and everything.
Like, it doesn't
But-
need to have the jokes.
Don't compare
but
it to
it
that.
just-
Compare it to Dark Knight Rises. It was still
yeah, like
in
Dark
that
Knight
own sense.
Rises. I mean,
But that hadn't.
with the Joker, I mean, Dark Knight Rises was probably top 3 comic book.
Dark Knight
movies.
Rises is that the number
Or-
2?
Yeah, yeah.
with
No,
Joker.
it's Dark
Three, I
Knight.
think. Dark Knight is number 2.
Yeah, Dark Knight Rises is
two.
the third one.
Okay.
That's like top
Yeah,
3
yeah,
of
I
all
agree with
time with
that.
Joker. Like that was like
Yeah.
no jokes. That was a hard movie. That was
Great
just
pacing
fun.
as well. It just
Yeah,
went from
yeah.
scene to scene to scene, and it just like constant throughout.
I think overall, like what we said before, they were trying to put everything in.
Yeah.
What Marvel do, they have their hour and a half, 2, and they just cut it, and they leave the audience wanting more.
Yeah.
Whereas here, they're just like, take this, take this, take this,
Yeah.
take this, take this. Okay, that's it. We're just like, oh, that's too much.
Yeah.
But
I
DC
mean-
is generally more dark, more like gritty, more adult than.
But it's
Marvel.
like so like because in the last act I was actually paying attention to if they had any jokes in the film, and there's
think there
two
one or
jokes.
two
There's
there.
2 right at the end.
Oh really?
In the last scenes where Batman does them, like Batman is supposed to be, he's played such a serious role throughout the whole movie, and he has 2 jokes. He says to Superman, where Superman says to him, "I thought she's with you," and then he says to him,
yeah.
"No, I thought she was with you." Like that was supposed to be a ha
Yeah.
moment
But
But
he's too
because it's so
serious.
out of place,
Yeah.
you didn't feel
you
that,
just
yeah.
don't laugh at all. It's just not funny.
It's like, when did they suddenly have banter? Like, it's so weird.
And then there's another scene where he finds out that the kryptonite is like Superman says to him, "Why did you come back to the city?" He says, "Oh, to get the kryptonite." And I think Superman says, "Where is it?" And Batman says, "Well, I think I've been a bit busy." It's like that's not funny. It's like it's
No,
just
but
such a dumb
think-
line to say at that moment.
Yeah, they shouldn't have put any comedy in, but there's like a Justice League trailer. I don't know if you've seen that, where Batman's cracking jokes,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
don't like it.
Is that the
I
one
haven't
where
seen
he's
it.
like going up to
The Flash.
Aquaman?
He goes up to the Flash and he's
Oh.
like, "Oh, join us." I can't remember the
See,
exact.
I thought when he approached Aquaman, I thought that was going to be in this movie.
it's
I
Flash.
got-
He doesn't meet. Does he meet Aquaman as well?
But that's like a
not
direct.
the new one.
oh,
that
right.
that trailer, I saw that trailer. That is a direct response to the
That's what-
complaints of this movie. Like,
they
oh, it's
shouldn't be
too
trying
dark.
to please people. They, like, as in, they shouldn't just because they
The
should
thing
do
is-
what they do right. Like they're good at doing like the
But
comic.
dudes, does anybody know what DC movies, the DC cinematic universe does right? Like,
I think like Batman, the first three with Christian Bale.
but that was
those did it.
that, you have to. For me,
I
I
know,
have
but
to
that-
take
but-
because that was made by one of the probably in modern day the greatest storytellers, Christopher Nolan. He's made Interstellar. He made
Inception.
Inception.
Well, I didn't like the third Batman.
Memento.
Put that out there. Thought it was awful.
There we go.
Well, I like
Another debate.
We can talk about that in
But
another
like,
video.
going back to the comedy,
Pretend
though,
next week.
like I think they shouldn't have like given Batman all these jokes. They should have saved the jokes for the characters that are meant to be funny. So
Who
like
is
the Flash,
Who is?
the Flash.
Yeah.
But he's not in this movie.
So
But he
save
will
it.
be though. Like
So
save
save
it,
it.
because then that will switch it up so much. When he actually does come into it, it'll be like,
Yeah.
like,
But then
'cause
that's
he-
what he's
don't-
doing, and then
No, Batman's
doesn't
making the
like that.
jokes.
Yeah, they're
Flash
like-
can make the
Yeah,
jokes.
yeah.
It's that
They're
dynamic, like
shoehorning
super,
it.
yeah,
Yeah,
super,
yeah.
like a super serious guy with a super like unserious guy. There's a good dynamic there. It
Yeah.
makes it funny. But
Like
if
Spider-Man
Batman's trying to
with-
be funny and you're being funny, it's like
yeah.
It doesn't,
Yeah, because now, like when Flash does turn up and he makes a joke, Batman's gonna be wisecracking back to it.
yeah,
And that's not gonna work. Like
Yeah.
Batman needs to just like give him a
yeah, give him the
look.
eyes, yeah, like evil eyes, yeah. So
Yeah.
But I am quite hyped for the next movies. Like even though this has been a massive disappointment, I still had fun watching this 3-hour movie. I couldn't watch it all at once. I had to watch it begin in half.
yeah,
But I
it was a
still
long
did
film.
enjoy it. There was a lot of what the fuck moments, but I'm quite looking forward to the next ones.
For me,
and Wonder Woman, she looks badass.
for me, I just like basically put a damper on the whole DC universe for me. Like, I'm gonna watch Wonder
Suicide
Woman.
Squad.
I'm
Oh,
gonna,
wow.
like,
Yeah, we
Suicide
need-
Squad's been out a week. I haven't like
We need
planned
go
to watch
that.
it. I'm just not looking forward to watching it. I'm
Let's
gonna
go
watch
watch
it,
it.
but I
I
don't
heard
look
it's
forward.
Like the hardcores are saying, but the like casual ones are like, yeah, it's good.
Mm.
It has what you want in a movie, basically.
Which one?
Suicide Squad.
Suicide.
Oh right.
For me, what makes like a great action movie, superhero movie, is a villain that puts stakes on the line, that increases the intensity, that makes you invested in the movie emotionally, that thinks that they're fighting for something. And if an action or superhero movie has bad villains, it's going to be a
They
bad
say
movie.
like your superhero's only as good as your villains.
Yeah,
So if
it's
you've got
all
a bad
about that.
villain,
It
it doesn't make
There's a
No-
lot of
nobody
cringe moments
cares.
as well in the movie. I think every time Lex was speaking,
Yeah,
Yeah.
they took him in
Oh
a
my
completely
God.
different
Oh,
direction.
yeah, let's talk about Lex Luthor.
Oh,
We
God.
missed
Because
that
like,
one
in
completely.
the comics, he's like a super genius,
Yeah,
yeah.
really
Like-
serious, really smart guy. But here he's like didn't seem that
They
smart.
just made him a bit more eccentric.
Yeah,
Right,
he's a bit more of like a
loopy.
classic
there's
villain.
a lot
Like,
of money, he can control a lot of
you
this.
know.
But then when he actually speaks, he has
But he's
no...
the son.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
they made a point of that.
That
That
he's
he
the
was the son.
But then what is that?
They shouldn't have made it.
Where
They should have
is-
put Bryan Cranston in the role.
yeah, I think that would have been good.
Oh, that
That
would
would've
have
been
taken
sick.
Should
it.
have made him.
Maybe he can
Nah.
be. He'll still be. If he's
Yeah.
Lex Junior, then there's no reason they can pull something out their ass where
Yeah.
he's.
He has a really creepy scene where he feeds that guy
Yeah.
cherry sweet.
Yeah.
Like
No need
he's
for
just
that. Cut
such
that
a
whole
bad,
Cut it.
bad character.
Even when he's doing that speech where, like in his thing where Batman's plugging that thing in.
Yeah, cut that.
I was like, I don't like public speaking, but I wouldn't be that bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was pretty bad.
That was the first time we saw Wonder Woman.
The only scene where
Yeah.
he's actually quite good in is when he speaks to Superman about gods and devils, and when they have to make a choice, and he throws the pictures of his
Yeah.
mum He says, "Oh, you."
Superman like fumbling right before him when he threw the pictures. It's like he went down to 2 knees. I don't really see Superman doing that either.
That's his mum. Though.
That's because of his mum. I quite
But I
like
didn't
that.
like- he's
Quite
like-
that.
He's like, that's like old school villains. Capture the girl, get the. You know,
Exactly.
I didn't like
But
that.
he got the girl.
Smarter than that.
He got the girl. He threw her off.
That was the worst
He got
thing.
the
That
mum.
was the bad thing.
Ooh.
And like, yeah,
Go
sorry.
on.
No.
It's so easy. Like at the end, he just thought of it. Oh, okay, let's just go get his mum.
Yeah.
And she's like conveniently throwing out the trash. And he's like, "Ooh," and she's like trying to run away from the car
into a van.
into a van. It's like, oh, let's brand her head with witch. It's just such a.
Yeah.
Oh, that wasn't a brand. I think that was just marker. At first, I
Yeah,
thought it
yeah,
was
yeah.
like cut into
Nah,
a forehead. I was
yeah.
like, wow, that's a bit harsh. Yeah, I was gonna say, what the hell was with Lex Luthor when he got arrested? Because he was stood in the pool in the spaceship.
Yeah.
The police came and there was something stood in front of him. It was
I
like a
read
Doomsday
that-
Mark II, which then just like disappeared into
Yeah, I
tiny
heard it
little
was-
bits.
Oh, it
I
looked
can't
like, had like a
remember
big
what
weird
villain
head,
it was.
right? Yeah,
Is
yeah.
that-
I thought you guys would know
Or
what
something.
villain that was.
So I did a
Didn't
bit of
recognise
research.
it.
No, I
I
didn't
did a
recognize
bit
it.
of research. Basically, that is a dark side minion
Oh.
that
Oh,
has come
Darkseid.
Like
into,
Despicable
which
Me.
is just basically DC's version of Thanos
Yeah.
that lives in another dimension. Basically, lives in hell.
He looks like Thanos, yeah.
Yeah, he basically lives in hell, and that's why that creature demon looked like it was from hell, was from Apocalypse or something. And then he had those black boxes, and those black boxes are going to be used as a
Infinity Stones.
no, like a way to
Cross dimensions?
Yeah.
Like,
travel into the earthly dimension for Darkseid. And that's when he says in the cell, like, oh, he's coming, you don't know, he's coming.
Ah.
That's why he
The bells
says
have been rung.
Yeah, the
Oh,
bells
yeah,
have
the
been
bells
rung
have
and they can't be stopped or whatever he says.
They're gonna be unrung. Something like that.
Yeah. Like that scene in the pool, that's not in the cinema.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
That he's not.
So
there.
the reason why he's going mad in the cell is not explained.
It's weird. I just didn't recognize the minion from
yeah,
any of the
yeah.
cartoons.
Yeah, or,
It does
yeah,
look out of
comedy,
place in the DVD though, like on the Blu-ray version.
Oh.
It does look a little out of place, but
yeah. And then, the good thing with Marvel is they always kind of, well, some people don't like it, is they put like after credits, they build the hype for the next film. Like
Yeah.
you see a scene, and they didn't really do anything. I know they showed Superman's coffin, but no one really cares that much. You know, you kind of know he's gonna come back
Yeah.
somehow. But they didn't show Apocalypse or anything like that.
Maybe like the beach from like the Amazonian.
I
like,
think
the
Marvel
islands or
have
something.
I think they've just basically hit the perfect formula with
Jackpot.
all their movies. It's the people who write the comics or writing the movies. They're
Yeah.
like into the characters. They know what the characters
Yeah.
are. They feel.
Yeah, whoever like planned it out and figured out how they're gonna
Yeah.
link all of them
Well, that was
together.
a dude. I can't
That
remember
was
the guy.
really-
He
Kevin
joined.
Feige.
Was it him?
Basically, Kevin Feige
came
is the
in.
guy who's like kingpin of the whole.
Yeah, he
like
planned
he
the
plans
phases. Yeah,
all
phase
the
1, 2,
movies,
3.
like what
like a
they
flow
should be
chart.
doing.
This.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how they should be interacting with each other. Like DC need that. Like X-Men, that's a whole other discussion.
please.
But like X-Men is failing basically. Fantastic Four is failing. Spider-Man's failing. Like
Well,
DC's failing to some extent. Marvel is the only one who have got house in
Marvel,
order.
Disney.
Yeah, Disney now. Yeah, they own
Marvel,
Marvel.
Disney.
But it's Marvel Studios that are making it. So
Yeah.
But now Spider-Man should be getting rejuvenated, right? 'Cause
yeah,
he's-
he's now
remade
he's
as
now
Marvel.
back with Marvel, so no longer with Sony. I think that's a problem. Like you're saying, like Fantastic Four's not doing, X-Men's not doing. They're not with Marvel. They're done by people.
They're done by
Fox,
people
yeah,
who are in
26
it to make
Fox.
money.
Yeah, and
basically.
they just want to make money of it. And apparently they gave away the rights for something, and they lost out a lot of money. So that's the only reason they kept on making Fantastic Four, so they could keep the rights. They didn't want to give it back to Marvel.
Oh yeah, because if they didn't, if
Yeah,
they just sat on their rights. it would
Yeah,
be-
they would have to give it back basically, or something to that effect.
Shit, let's make something quickly. Pump
Yeah.
it out there.
I haven't seen that.
Don't get distracted.
So
BBS.
yeah,
BBS.
do anybody, Bob? Do you have any finishing
Closing
words?
comments. Trying to
What
think.
would you give this movie out of 10?
That's a hard one.
Out of 10.
What would you give it? How many Rs would you give it?
6.5 Rs. 6.5.
How do you do half a
Is that our thing? Is that our rating?
Six.
No, we should give it like now, man. Is it good? Like, yeah, man. We should give it a rating like that.
Yeah, man.
Six
I'll give it 6.5. Yeah, man.
Lewis. Again.
Top 10. If it's a 10 out of 10.
6.5. Yeah, man. I'm not sure about yeah, man. 6.5. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm like probably 6. I'll give it 6 out
I'll
of 10.
give probably 5. Not my fault.
Would any of you recommend this movie? Because I'm not sure if I could recommend.
No.
Like,
I wouldn't
Like,
recommend
If
it.
a person is watching a comic book movie for the first time, wants to know the hype, wants to know why comic book movies are in, why people
Not
are
this.
making 10 movies a year, no way.
Not this.
Mm.
Like I show my parents.
If
like,
someone is a DC fanboy and like reads the comics, I think they would really love this movie because it has a lot of stuff in the movie for DC fanboys.
Would you? But
Well,
would you
just
like
people
take
who
your
like
girlfriend?
comics, they need to be
Would you
fanboys.
Well,
take-
yeah, no, they have to be fanboys
Would you like watch it with someone who doesn't like?
because they
comics?
forgive the.
You could.
No, like
Because there's nothing in this that a casual.
Yeah, because having introduced the
Moviegoer,
characters,
yeah.
they're just throwing them all in.
Like,
Say
well-
that again. Would you watch it with her?
Like with a casual moviegoer, like my sister, for example, who knows nothing about comic books.
I
Like,
wouldn't. I
You would have
personally-
no idea what's happening. Like even with the Avengers, you've got some kind of like family dynamic. You've got the leader. You've got like the support crew.
Yeah.
Like you've got some kind of tension there. Whereas this is based purely on comic
It's
book
a
readers.
mediocre action movie and it's a not very good comic book movie. That's basically what it comes down to.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a shame as well because like probably the biggest two characters in comic books
Yeah.
have come together
Yeah.
to fight each other. Should have been the best comic book film.
That's
It's-
including Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Superman and Batman.
Everyone was
Yeah.
Batman.
Everyone
and
always is
Superman.
Superman or Batman.
Yeah.
People
Everyone
might
else comes after.
Yeah, and it's a
I wonder
shame.
how much it grossed.
It did quite
It
well.
made a lot. It made a lot
Yeah.
in its first weekend, but had a huge drop off, which tells you a lot.
But I think overall it still made a lot of money.
Yeah,
And I think
It made enough.
they are doing now Superman, Man of Steel 2 now.
yeah, which should be good.
Well, yeah. But I'm just...
I'm actually looking forward to that. I actually enjoyed Man of Steel.
I like the first
that.
one because they had a bit of like how Superman became Superman, his dad giving him like
And
life
Zod
lessons.
being the main
yeah,
villain.
yeah,
and he
but
was
some
a
people
pretty
complain
good
there's too
villain.
much action, which I didn't
What?
mind.
No,
There's a lot of
Yeah,
action.
Man of
just
Steel.
watching Batman vs Superman made me want to go back and watch the other one.
Yeah. But Suicide Squad,
I don't know.
I when I saw the trailer, I thought it was DC trying to jump on Guardians of the Galaxy, and I don't think it's gonna be good.
Well, I think with the characters that they had, like playing in this is going to be a completely different thing. But anyway, the characters who played in Suicide Squad, I don't think they could have been this dark as Batman vs
yeah.
Superman anyway.
Yeah.
Because those people, they're funny.
Yeah.
In other
Well,
films,
Will
they're always
Smith,
funny.
yeah. If you got Will Smith,
always
it's hard
funny.
for him to be serious.
Imagine
Like
him
dark
trying to be like
serious.
Ben Affleck. Like,
This is
come
like,
on.
This is like a preview for our next week's podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we watch Suicide Squad and give our thoughts, maybe I'll change my mind because there's some people that I thought wouldn't like the film, but they really did. So you never know.
Okay, I think that wraps it up. Okay, thanks everybody for listening to our first ever movie cast. Let us know what you thought of our review. If you disagree with what we were saying, if you agree with whatever we were saying, leave a comment down below, like, share, and subscribe.
Peace.
Safe.
Good.